Hello, welcome back to this series touring the uniforms of the Empire. This time, Averland. Now a few of you have requested this one. Combining black and yellow, Averland's an interesting challenge in painting two colours that need completely different starting points. Let's go. Although Averland is half black, I've base coated this model with Wraithbone so I can take advantage of its warmth for the yellow, which of course works better over a light primer. I am going to base coat the black now though, as it will be easier to tidy up mistakes with Wraithbone than with yellow. Simply paint which parts of the cloth you want to be black with Abaddon Black. You may need to apply a second layer if you've kept your paint thin. Next, the yellow. For this, I just take Iyanden Yellow contrast and paint it all over, trying not to spill onto the black you just base coated. I'm being quite generous with this. When that's dry, I paint Yriel Yellow over most of the fabric, leaving Iyanden Yellow in the recesses and on the lower portions of flatter areas. This will smooth out the cloth, especially on flatter areas where the contrast paint might have left a slightly uneven finish, and increase the vibrancy of the yellow. Next, I mix 2 parts Yriel Yellow to 1 part Dorn Yellow and thin it to a glaze. I apply this to the upper areas of the fabric where the light would hit, to build up a gradual highlight whilst leaving the lower areas slightly darker. This is especially important for these newer state troop models, where the cloth is quite flat compared to the older models that had more detail. Next, I add more Dorn Yellow so the ratio is 2 to 1 the other way, and apply more selective highlights, again as a glaze, further emphasizing the upper portions of any flat fabric. You can see how I'm applying this layer slightly higher up, leaving a little bit of the last stage visible and continuing to build a smooth gradient. Finally, with pure Dorn Yellow, I edge highlight the details, emphasizing any creases and folds. I also edge highlight along all the seams to really emphasize them. If you want to emphasize any recesses further or tidy up mistakes like I've made here, you can line Iyanden Yellow back into those areas. And when that's done, you have a really simple but effective yellow. Now, back to black. It can be easy to over-highlight this and make it look too light grey. First, I mix equal parts Eshin Grey and Abaddon Black and apply this to the majority of the fabric, but thinking especially of the upper surfaces facing the light like we did with the yellow. You could also use Corvus Black here if you want. Basically, the idea is to actually make the fabric a really dark grey. Then I thin Eshin Grey to a glaze and cover a smaller area to emphasise the upper surfaces even more. And for the majority of the fabric, that's as bright as I'm going. With Dawnstone, I highlight all of the seams, the folds and creases. And finally, to really make the black pop, I take some grey Seer and spot highlight the most extreme points. Be really sparing with this, less is more. And with that, we have a really interesting black with some depth. And there we are! All that's left now is to paint the rest of the model, like so. If you want to know how I painted mine, you can check out my previous series on Empire Militia, linked in the description below to see some of the techniques I used there. I really hope you enjoyed this quick tip. All that remains now is to thank my members. Your support really means so much. Please do consider becoming a member yourself if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe to be notified when my next video drops, or suggest what you'd like to see me paint next. I'll see you next time, and until then, happy painting.